configuration and testing of the Elder Gold Dragon that we made in the last video. Let's talk about the zone that got created, which is this right here, the Burning Tomb. And what we're going to do is we're going to use that as our mobile representation of where that zone is. And it's going to extend outward in two squares. Every time the aura activates, you will see it. The magenta, remember we talked about that? Go in all directions, or was that I think that was the main, yeah, that was the main dragon that we configured as magenta. So we'll do another color for this. The way we configure this Burning Tomb, and notice that I've got a flame skull out here. It's flaming death, close enough to represent that. Because what it does is when it makes a zone or any spell token, it just gives a random image for the token. So we're going to change that to something meaningful, and that's all automated actually. So we're going to click on Burning Tomb, and we can click any button to trigger the conversion to a spell token, because it's actually just a copy of the Elder Gold Dragon in medium form. So we'll click, it doesn't matter, health. And it's saying polymorph target. Yes, we want to polymorph this one, the Burning Tomb. Change that one. And we want to choose the Flame Skull. I'll say okay. And because that's just used to get the image from that token, that JPEG, yeah, we can delete it. That's if we want to get rid of it. Just a little bit of housekeeping there. This is okay, destroying all the macros, because we're going to make new ones. Rather, the convert to spell macro is going to make new ones. Now, what it does here is it takes the effect text from the original spell, the original power, and it creates an aura out of it. See the aura keyword? So we need to make sure that this is correct. Is it 1? Let's go see. Burning Tomb area burst 1 within 20. Yes. So that's the extent of the zone. So I was wrong when I said about 2 squares earlier. It's just 1 square, and that's a good thing if you're fighting this guy. So yeah, close burst 1. Make sure all this is properly configured. And the effect text in there, that is the meat of the power. It's put that 15 fire damage that it does in there. So what we can do is we can say okay to this, and it'll generate a macro. Just remember for the rock chest, remember the poison needle? Same idea. So now it's asking, well, do you want to do an aura for this? And we do, because if you read the text of the power, it says that it persists. The zone sticks around, and you can sustain minor for that. And it actually did. While we're talking about that, the sustain minor field on the original power editor for that, it sucked in a little more text than it should have. That's harmless. It's just extra information. But if you're, like I said, if you're a stickler for a properly coded macro, then you might want to take out the stuff before the minor part of that. So yes, so everybody's going to take 15 points of fire damage when they encroach upon this zone. Creates a zone that fire lasts until the end of the Elder Gold Dragon's next turn, and that looks good. All that stuff, and it's yeah, the original was mobilized, but now yes, that's the macro that's going to be called. It's going to be on this token. Range is 1. Select all. Activate it. Turn on. So it doesn't matter whether you're starting or ending your turn in there. It should only burn you once. It should. I've coded it that way anyway, so be wild and watch for that. If it does it twice, then you might want to apologize to that player and give him 15 points of fire damage back. So, of healing rather. So we'll say okay to that. And we'll choose a different color this time since it's fire. Let's go red, of course. Say okay. And there it is. There's the fire damage. It's going to do that to range 1. And again, the duration in this case is meaningless. It knows that it's going to be permanent. Say okay. Damage type. And this is the targeting now. So it's going to not just go after enemies. That's not correct. Each creature that starts its turn. So we need to be on the lookout for this. It'll get things wrong certain times. One creature, and it doesn't matter whether it's a friend or a foe. Range 1. And that looks good. We'll say okay there. And there we have it. We have the macro right there. We can run this anytime we want. Anytime anybody comes within 1 of this token, adjacent to that token, or on it, of course, then we can run this and we can give that damage. So the Burning Tomb is ready to go. And you know what? I forgot to actually put in a handout. That would be cool, wouldn't it? So I have a handout that I have in my downloads folder. So where'd that go? Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. That's Gollum being covered in lava. So we can do that. If we had done that before, what it'll do is it'll create a handout to chat. But you can see it right there. Run that. There we go. That will be for your players. And they will get that when the time is right, when you actually run that macro or it activates. So that looks good. So now what we want to do is we want to test all the powers that we got. And you see on the library token, we got a whole bunch of macros to make sure that the activate RV looks good. Yes, he's resistant to fire to the tune of 25. That looks good. Okay. And let's see, what do we check? I usually just gloss over the basic attacks. They're pretty simple. Same thing with the double attack. It's the more complex ones you want to really look at. While we're talking about Burning Tomb, why don't we cast it? So what we're going to do is we're going to put it in the middle. Let's say the dragon doesn't like any of these guys, the skeletons or Vanny. He's going to put it right in the middle of them because it's an area burst 1. So 1 all around the A boss, and we will cast. That is unfortunately that's an at will, if you can believe that. I don't know. Seems a little overpowered to be an at will, but hey, I didn't design the guy, so who am I to say? It will temporarily teleport the token and resize it to medium into the area because it's going to actually cast from there. It's going to assume it's coming from the dragon itself, but that's just temporary. And it's going to hit all these guys because it's a very powerful monster against very weak characters, relatively speaking. I got a 2 there, but that's still gonna hit Vanny because again, crazy powerful. And yep, we get hits damage to all of them. Make sure that's the right damage. It is. And it's going to do all kinds of, and it's asking to play the clip for the bloodied guy who is the bottom skeleton. Other skeleton too. And I made Vanny like 99 hit points so he can take a bit more punishment. And there we go. It displays the handout because we ran the power. So there, and well, actually, what the reason why it ran the handout is because it's actually dumping it in the midst of, it's deploying the token for the zone. So it does that. It goes to the handout, and for an extra bit of drama, it gives that to your players. So we check the chat, make sure all that looks good. Well, it doesn't look good to the poor guys that got the damage and everything, but I mean, it looks good to us as the macro designer, as the import guy. So Burning Tomb is operating well. So Beguiling Glow, remember, we can hover over this to see how it's like the basic text and stuff. So target is pulled 5 squares and dazed each enemy in the burst. So we can do that. So let's try that. Beguiling Glow. In the encounter we saw that group. Versus Vanny. And that's only against enemies. Because these guys are NPCs, it considers Vanny the enemy, since this guy is also an NPC. But I mean, you can dominate this guy or do toggle target all. Remember we talked about that in the toggles video? We can do toggle target all on him, and he will go after these skeletons as well if we wanted to do that. But that's left as an exercise, as so many of the things that we do are. So there we go. He is indeed dazed, as that power is supposed to be doing. We won't do the pull. Don't worry about that. So, breath weapon. Oh, here we go. This is the biggie. What dragons are known for. Now remember, this is a close blast 5, so it's going to be 5 squares adjacent to him. So you have to put the A boss in the middle of those 5 squares. And you can see right there, it's already there. It's actually under the burning tomb. So in prime location, if we had it closer or farther, we will get an error saying, hey, you didn't put the A boss in the right spot. So let's do it. Since it is in the right spot, he inhales and out comes flame of horrific magnitude. Okay, and it starts to enumerate all of the tokens that are in that close blast 5. And of course, these are going to hit guaranteed, unless we do look at that granting CA on Vanny, because it sees that Vanny has that state on. And this is going to kill. Yeah. The skeletons. Okay, all right, they're already dead, but you know what I mean. It's going to take them out. Yes. No. Now, in actual combat, in a server situation, it is going to, in fact, disengage. Well, it should disengage these guys, but because we're not in a actual initiative combat, we need to do it manually. So click on the skeletons, go disengage. Otherwise, it will complain, because it doesn't want to track things that are not in combat. And the way to not track things is to disengage them. So that's that. Now let's go back to what we were talking about earlier about what this power actually does. Let's take a look at it. And the target is weakened. Aborted because he's dead. Okay, that's good. But let's just double check the power. Target is weakened. Okay, that looks good. Right. Okay, so I was thinking of something else for the double, but we'll get to that. All right, so let's go back to the library token and let's try Frightful Presence. And that is a close burst 10. So let's see how Vanny's doing on hit points. And all right, that should be okay. Say okay to that. Look at all the states that are piling up on the poor guy. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, let's close the overlay. So, yep. Now let's test the after effect mechanism of that stunned. Now, again, one of the ways a DM might say to get rid of that is Vanny, his player, can run the remove effect on save, or this is actually duration as save ends. Actually, it's not duration Elder Dragon's turn end. So yes, I was right. You have to do remove effect on save. That's one option, or we can just undo it and watch what happens. Go to undo, last turn's effects, and go to stunned, which is the last one. Look at that. After effect. It has been applied. -2 to gen at mod. The attack penalty has been applied. We see the state, we see the overlay declaring that it has been applied. So that is the After Effect feature in action before your very eyes. So Bloodied Breath, yeah, we can do that. Let's, how many hit points this got? Wow, 888. So let's do 555 points of damage. See what happens. This should bloody him and activate the click here to run broadcast overlay. Yes, that will actually do the handout for this guy. We actually didn't put one on at this time. I just wanted to show it for the, because we've already seen that before in the skeletons. We wanted to show it for the Burning Tomb. So that looks good. Now it looks like the, let me just double click the, double check rather, the triggers. You can double check your trigger definitions by going to status and then scrolling all the way to the bottom. Reaction bloodied breath. Okay, I think that's when somebody else bloodies you, because we don't actually have a link for that. We have broadcast overlay. That's okay. That's because, oh, it's because he's doing it on himself. That's why. If Vanny had bloodied him, then we would have gotten the link for the bloodied breath. But that's okay. We can run it manually. Anytime something goes wrong like that, just run it manually. No problem. Now let's check out the Burning Tomb. Let's see if that actually works. Now, what we can do, remember, the gold dragon has an aura and the tomb has an aura. And we can actually test both auras. See, look at this. If you go to the grave and look at basic info and the stat sheet in the lower left, you see how it says Burning Tomb there? That's how we know that the aura has been activated. So if Vanny were to actually start his turn, let's simulate that. State, system, initiative. Let's say he started his turn there. Burning Tomb, the start turn macro on Vanny as he runs it will actually activate the Burning Tomb aura attack right here. So let's see if it works. Turn start mode, yes. Look at that, it worked. Aura attack, what it does is it goes after the green triangles. If he's not starting his turn, this will give an error. It'll say, hey, wait a minute, I'm looking for state equals initiative. I don't see it anywhere, so it's going to give an error. But since it did find the green triangles, the aura attack is specially done. Look here, we do have the link for that. It's specially coded to go after the green triangles. So that's how that works. So 15 points of fire damage. Now, as if that wasn't bad enough, we can do the gold dragon and go within 2 to do his aura attack. See if that works. Once again. Well, actually, you know what? Let's do something interesting. Let's say that he's encroached and we're going to do an ad hoc aura attack. It's not going to work if we do aura attack, as I just explained. It's going to, we can go common free no. We can actually turn on the aura if we want to. Go toggles. And okay, it's not there. Interesting. So let me explain how it gets actually put on. It would seem that we didn't do the weakening flames. So we can go to properties and actually there it is right there. So interesting. It should be able to actually activate that. So what we can do is go to free no, hover over that. See how it says weakening flames right there? we can actually go there and run it manually. And it will run manually. Remember how I said if something doesn't quite work out right, we can run it manually. And since Vanny is the only enemy within range, it actually goes ahead. Remember how I said earlier that it has to be the 15 fire or the weaken, but not both. But it did do both. We chose both when we were configuring the power, the aura, and that's okay because what we can do now is we can take back one and simulate that mechanic right there. The way we do that, of course, you guessed it, is undo. Vanny has the choice, so he says, well, I don't want the damage, so take that off. So we undo, and wow, look at all these effects that have piled up. We see weakening flames at the end here, targets Vanny, and fire damage, Cur HP, targets Vanny. Let me explain this, why the metadata gets saved for undo like this. It splits it into two. Remember, it's 15 points of damage, but there's one 8 line and one 7 line. This is for when there are instances that only half damage is taken. Like, say, the receiving power, the victim, has some kind of ability that says, well, I only take half damage. You can actually say to the attacker, no, take half of that back. And the attacker says, okay, I'll run my undo and only take back half. But the power says you got to take back all of it. So we're going to check both of them. Say okay. And we should get the sound effect for healing. There it is. Very nice. Okay. And he gets the healing to his Cur HP. That looks good. We hover over him, and yeah, he's got some hit points back. So that's good. But yeah, like I said, normally you should be able to do toggle aura that we have here. If we hover over Grave, it's not in there, but we go toggle aura. Aura is active. And that's in silent running mode, so the players don't see it. Hover over the Grave, look at that. Elder Gold Dragon, the aura is active. Because in basic info, in that first line there, we see that his token name is in there. So now he'll work if this were a combat situation. Anybody starting their turn or ending their turn, I believe, in that aura is in for some nasty surprises. Actually, yeah, so enters or starts its turn. So that's correct. So you want to do some ad hoc and maybe some aura attack. There's actually no reason to do aura attack. You can just do ad hoc all the time as the situation permits. Aura attack is actually used by the start my turn macro in order to attack the guy that's actually starting. So I know that doesn't make sense. You're starting your turn and you're asking the guy who has an aura beside you to attack you. But that's really mechanistically, that's the best way to work it in the framework. And you can't do anything about it anyway. So, hey, what's the problem? So that's it. We didn't test, Fiery Wing Riposte, but that's a pretty simple power. So we can take comfort. Like the ones before it, it'll work. And he has action points, of course, which he can take. And yes, he will have a gen save mod of 5. So our dragon looks ready to go. So I pity the poor party that comes up against this guy. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.